come up as a result of this?
Well, of course, we've been joined by the Crown State Director in Akwa Ibom State, Otuekong Franklin. So, good morning and welcome to Rise and Shine.
Good morning, Francis. Good morning, Uyai.
Good morning.
To be with you this morning.
All right, welcome. Sorry about the network glitches that couldn't allow us to talk earlier on, but we're going to try as much as possible to wrap this up. First and foremost, let's look at your reaction as a strong vocal advocate of the people. The NLC TUC strike starting today. A lot of people joining, a lot of union ASU has joined, other unions have joined after getting, requests by the organized labor. And it's happening today. But we see the federal government in its usual standpoint calling the leadership of the union for a meeting today, while also dangling contempt of court threats still on the leadership of the two unions. What's your reaction to these?
First of all, I think the protest by NLC is very timely and is long overdue. If you look at the history behind the protest, you will agree with me that on the 1st of November, the NLC President, Comrade Joe Ajaero, led the NLC national leadership to a meeting at the NLC State Secretariat in Owerri to address long-standing issues that have affected the welfare of workers in Imo State. One of these issues include the fact that the workers in Imo State have been denied over 20 months' salary. Pensioners have been denied over 1 year salary. The governor is operating like a tyranny, is operating like a tyrant, is operating like an undemocratic dictator who just sits in his office and dictate what should be. I sometimes am surprised when I see him with white clothes at public events, and I'm like wondering if they actually know the significance of putting on white. This is a man who became the governor of the state, and immediately he became the governor of the state, he declared over 10,000 workers as ghost workers in the state. And then without any verification, you stop their salaries. For over 20 months, these people have been owed their salaries, and you are still going about. You attend church events, you go to worship, you attend this, you put on white, you go to events, and I don't know how the kind of heart people have when you are opportune to serve, when you are given the privilege to govern your people. Instead of offering good governance, you are inflicting pain on people. Some of these pensioners are people who have put in their all in the service for their state. Some of them are depending on medication. Some of them are diabetic patients. Some are having hypertension, and they depend on drugs. And yet you refuse to pay them because, in your own opinion, they are ghost pensioners. Have you done verification? There are other issues that are still pending in the state. And so when the NLC president, who is incidentally from Imo State, is talking about the welfare of the workers of Imo State, I do not see any reason for him to be brutalized, to be malhandled by the agent of the state in connivance with the state governor, who, over time had not given any reason to address the issues that have been raised by the workers in the state. The NLC president did no wrong. He was at the NLC State Secretariat in Owerri to address the press as well as the workers in the state. The NLC president is the number one chief laborer of Nigeria, and he has the consent of his members. He can go to anywhere. He can address his members at anywhere. But from the report we gathered, the police that ought to protect him were withdrawn. The police who were assigned to cover the strike that would have been embarked upon, led by the NLC president, were withdrawn. Over 20 of them were withdrawn from the NLC president. And then Chucks invaded the NLC secretariat. And then, according to the report, the police arrested the NLC president took him and handed him over to the thugs to be beaten. He was blindfolded, taken to an unknown destination, beaten, tied as if he was a criminal. That's even aside. What was the offense committed by the NLC president? If he had committed any offense, is that the way to treat him? This is a man who has a voice, and he's been treated this way. So those who don't have voices cannot even talk. That is why we are in sympathy with the protest and the strike called by NLC. I'm leaving here and I'm going to address the protest at the state secretariat. I've been monitoring the situation. We've report. Our reporters have told us that the Port Harcourt refinery has been shut down. No movement, no activity going on. ASU has joined the strike. NOPENG, PENGASIN, all the unions. I even expect the bankers to join. I expect the aviation workers to join. I expect those who are in the power sector. Let the country for once be shut down very peacefully. Let the president of Nigeria, whose duty it is to address issues of workers, whose issue it is to address the issue, the welfare of Nigerians, begin to sit back and look at the fact that his government has suffered several strike actions of NLC. He's just barely a year in office. We are having a lot of strike action by NLC. How are the handlers being able to, how are they handling these issues? Why is it that under the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are having a lot of strike actions being embarked upon by NLC within a stretch of 1 year? Something is wrong with that. It doesn't mean that the president does not mean well for the country. It means that the workers, those who are handling the affairs of workers in the country, are not doing their best. So this for me is a wake-up call to Mr. President to personally take charge and discuss with these workers. The workers of this country are looking up to him, not to the governor of Imo State, not to the Minister of Labour and Productivity, not to the Attorney General. No court action can deny Nigeria its right of liberty, its right to, its right to expression. The government that is always going to court, do they also obey court order? Several courts have ordered that the CBN governor be released. Just recently, that they obeyed it. The EFCC, the suspended EFCC chairman is still in the police custody. Nnamdi Kanu is still there. Where is Ezazaki? Where is Ibrahim Dazuki? The government that is always going to court to obtain court order, do they obey court order?
So this leaves a lot of questions.
That's the point.
This leaves a lot of questions on the minds of Nigerians, frankly. Like something you rightly said, for once, let Nigerians move and take these actions and let's see what exactly the federal government is going to be doing. But we were also going to ask you, the ratio of compliance with this nationwide strike that started out, wee hours of this morning. How is Uyo looking? The state secretariat, the federal secretariat, these public agencies, are they functional in the state? And when we say let us shut down, we know that productivity is going to be clamped down to a very, very large extent. It means Nigeria is not going to be making a lot of money today and making progress with certain administrative roles if this strike goes on. And the strike is an indefinite one. It has started today. We don't know when it is going to end. So what do you think, the basic objective of this move? And I think to some quarters it's also worrisome that the baseline for this, strike is the fact that Joe Ajero was manhandled in Imo State. Everyone criticizes and, speaks against that particular action. But why is that like the brunt of, the nationwide strike at this time?
Well, first, your question is in two.
Absolutely.
And I will take the first one. I have just said here that every Nigerian has a right of movement, a right of freedom of speech, freedom to associate with anybody you want to associate with, freedom of thought, freedom of worship. The president of NLC has the freedom to go to his own state and to any state for that matter, has the freedom to associate with workers and anyone he so wishes. So it was wrong for him to have been manhandled, arrested by the police under the guise of protective custody and handed over to thugs who came to invade the premises of the NLC Secretariat where the press conference was supposed to hold. So it is completely wrong for the governor of the state to allow that to happen under his watch. It is wrong for the president of Nigeria to allow that to happen under his nose. I have just said that the president has just spent barely a year, and you're having a series of, ill treatment meted up to workers. We've had several actions being called by the NLC, by the TUC, and every other workers in the country under Mr. President. Mr. President is supposed to be more concerned with the welfare, because the cardinal function of every government is to provide welfare and security for its citizens. Was the president of NLC secured in Imo State? The answer is no. Was he protected? The answer is no. Look at how he looked today. Look at the pictures that they're even using.
Okay,
and
so
he sent a very wrong signal. Now, having said this, the level of compliance, I am in touch with the NLC leadership and the TUC leadership in our tribal state, and it is completely total. This morning, I have gathered a report that the state secretariat is shut down. No worker is allowed to go in and come out. I have also spoken with the TUC chairman, who has gone to Eket to address workers in Eket. And for me, I'm leaving this place, my interview. I'm going to be on the street. It is a total lockdown. Let us, for once, send a strong signal that the action and inaction of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and men of his government, they has not taken us any better. We are going. The hardship is biting harder by the day. Things are becoming too tough. Nigerians are feeding from refuse dump. We are becoming scavenging from refuse dump under the harsh economic policy that the government has brought out. So
okay, so
improvement.
Let's address two things.
Yesterday I bought fuel 650 naira per liter.
Some places are even selling at 690. So let's touch on two things before we let you go in about a minute or two. Two things you've also touched on. Is it not surprising to you that of all of the allegations against Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, he flagged his win with winning 27 of 27 local governments in the state and won all of the polling units? Is it not surprising that someone who's not been satisfactory to the baseline workers of the state won the elections in his state landslide? That's number one. Number two, the issue, for instance, you reneged on the fact that police escorts and security were taken away from Joe Ajaero when he was in Imo State. We have seen the federal government, on the auspices and instruction of the president, to withdraw security detail and police officers from VIPs in the country. So let's look at these two things quickly. The fact that Hope Uzodinma won landslide 27 over 27 in Imo State. How is that even possible when, it's alleged that he's not doing such a good work as the governor? Number two, withdrawal of police escort from VIPs. What are your thoughts? We've already seen one person suffer casualties. Is this the best move at this time?
The INEC rec in Imo State was nominated by the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma. That's to start with. I didn't expect anything less. That is why the Labour had to shift the protest away from the date of the poll, so that Nigerians will not say we are trying to witch hunt, that we are fighting election. No. The issue, will outlive his tenure. The issue is the issue that had stayed at the first tenure. The intention of the protest, the intention of the strike action by NLC was not targeted at making him to fail his campaign. After all, election in Nigeria, we have said that that INEC has compromised its standard. INEC has lost integrity. INEC has nothing left. If you look at the report coming out, the report we have gathered, the report that my sister agency have sent to me showed that there were a lot of malpractices that took place in Imo State. So that is not even the issue to discuss his victory. He could have won 100 over 100. It doesn't change the fact that his policies is harsh against the workers. How he managed to win election is not the issue, because the security agencies are with him, the INEC is with him, and then what else? Who else? Have you seen any poster? Go and check Imo State. Go around Imo State and check. Did you see any poster of any party apart from his own poster? Did you see any campaign billboard erected in the entire Imo State apart from only his own party, only his own billboard? So that is to even start with. Did he allow a level playing field for other parties to survive? Did he not muzzle at the other parties from the state? We got all this report. So for me, his victory wasn't a surprise. If you call it victory. Because after all, INEC has lost its integrity. INEC has lost it all. That's just the point. So even the police had to campaign for him by going to host the police summit in Imo State, in Owerri, trying to justify that there is no security threat in Imo State. These are campaign gimmicks that we knew.
Yes.
So that is not even the issue. Withdrawal of police attaché to personalities is, for me, it is of no consequence. The issue we are concerned now is how can the Nigerian government better the welfare of the Nigerian police force. Whether you withdraw police attaché to dignitaries or police escort, or it doesn't change the fact that the policemen are underpaid. Their welfare is nothing to come about, and they are still expected on the way. There is still high level of corruption within the police force. Those who have been sent to go and battle with the bandits in the northeast are suffering. How is their housing estate? How is the police welfare scheme? How is their pension and gratuity catered for?
Big
I have a
question.
policeman who just got retired as a police CSP, and his pension was about 2.5 million. Having put in 33 years of service in the police force. And
Well, really big question for Twicom, frankly.
How would I take him to? So the welfare of the police is
It's most important this morning.
We need the police to be well funded and let the corruption in the police force be tackled and be treated, and then let the issue of police brutality be called to a halt.
Thank you so much, Otwekong Franklin, chairman of CRAN in Akwa Ibom State. Of course, his hands down this morning in the city of Uyo, overseeing the activities of the NLC strike, and he has given us his word as to why exactly this move has been made so far. Thank you, Otwekong Franklin, for coming on the show this morning. We absolutely appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Well, there's a lot to really desire with regards to how elections are done in Nigeria, but we're going to take a quick pause, and when we return, there's a quick conversation we still want to have on Rise and Shine, so do stay with us.